All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome. My name is Stephen D. Kelly. This is the Stephen D. Kelly Show. It's now 6:02 p.m. It's August 10th, 2023. We are TruthCat Radio, w.truthcatradio.com. All right. If you're in my group, you're in my Telegram group, you know we've had a little purge, and I need to talk about this purge and what happened, what led up to it. I need to get into all the gory details. But first, I need to kind of preface all this with a few things. And first, I'll say that there's not much that goes on that I really don't know about. Some stuff takes me by surprise if I'm purposefully not paying attention. You know, I'm looking the other way. Somebody takes advantage of me. Well, I guess I'll just start out right away. The number one problem, the number one thing you don't do is you don't use my name, use my mission for self-gratification or profit. You don't use my confidence to not just steal from other people, but also to act as an enemy agent. So there's actually two things we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about fraud and theft and an event that took place where somebody took advantage of some members. Get into details, but that's not the only thing that happened. It turns out that we find out even more stuff that's even worse because obviously we did a lot of investigation. I mean, come on. All right, so it's not just the one person, but we're going to focus mostly on one person tonight. And I just want to say that there's a lot of ways that you could look at this. I mean, a lot of people said, well, this is kind of like a Judas thing, which it is, because obviously there's money involved. But at the same time, we pride ourselves, at least I do, in trying to practice unconditional love and try to understand. And even when you know somebody's, crook, is guilty of doing things already, who's lying to you about it, but you still try to cut them some slack and you still try to reform them and love them and all that stuff. Now, before I get into the whole experience of what happened in the group and why we did what we did and what happened to who, there's a couple other things I want to point out. One is a movie called Spy with Sacha Baron, Borat. And the other thing is the comparison to the whole Trump business. You know, when people try to say, well, sometimes God uses somebody wicked, somebody guilty, somebody from the inside to do good things. There's a little bit of truth to that, but the reality is that when Satan does something, usually invariably it works out in God's favor. That's just the way it is. So you really shouldn't confuse that. But I'll just go to the silly movie thing. And this, of course, doesn't really deal with a fraud, but when you're dealing with a situation, then fraud isn't really too far-fetched. But in this particular movie, Borat was a Zionist, and he joined Mossad, and they recruited him to go to Argentina or something and hook up to people at the embassy for Syria. Anyway, eventually he made his way into Syria. He conned a bunch of people. He gained their confidence, and he worked his way up the ladder, throwing money around, doing favors, doing this sort of thing, helping until he basically made it all the way up to, I think it was Deputy Defense Minister. And this was under the previous Assad, not Bashar Assad, but his father. Anyway, this was before the Israelis had conquered all that territory, the Golan Heights and all that. So basically, in order for them to have conquered the Golan Heights, they planted a spy, the Israelis. And of course, no spy had ever accomplished this, but this spy was able to use his charm, his BS, to get up to the highest echelons, to the point to where he was actually part of the government and actually part of the Defense Department. He had everything. He could use his, whatever you want to call that, tick, 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 Morse code to send this back to Israel. Well, needless to say, when he was caught, of course, he was caught. They executed him, but before that happened, the president, or, the head of Syria, Assad, whatever, and of course this was dramatized, but naturally, I'm sure it was something very similar to this. He said, no, that can't be true. Not my friend, not my buddy, not my trusted advisor, defense minister person. Are you kidding me? He's really a Zionist agent? Well, I can't believe that. I must see the proof. Today, I ran into that a lot, okay? People who I actually put into a position to help me get through this transition of this, let's say, house cleaning purge thing that we're doing. And they had been contacted once again by the con person and they come back and they go, not my friend, not my friend. He's my friend. We're friends. I don't believe it. It must be that wicked female. Okay? The one that lost $25,000 US to the con man. That wicked female. I don't care how wicked she is. I don't care how crazy she is. I don't care what the con man says about her. The con man took $25,000. All right, that's what we're getting to. Now, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's just say that the group has been infiltrated, okay? And all the con man crap aside, I'm going to go back to something that we located and we found that is accurate. Okay. Now, if the fraud had not happened, if the theft had not happened, if the con game had not happened and the people did not get their money stolen, we would not have done this investigation into this guy, Christian Royal McDonald. All right. Anyway, let's do it. Well, we found some information. We found all kinds of information on him, but let's just start here. Found Christian McDonald in San Antonio, Texas Public Records. Christian McDonald is a direct care professional worker at Devereaux who currently resides in San Antonio, Texas. Christian is 25 years old, was born in January 1998. Now, here's the good part. Christian attended University of Houston, Victoria, where Christian received a degree in Bachelor of Arts, a BA, Industrial and Organizational Psychology and Military Psychology with a 3.78 GPA. Okay. He went on to receive a degree in summer classes, basics at Northwest Vista College, and beyond the current title, his current employment includes warehouse supervisor at SeaWorld, a manager at McDonald's, beverage and hostess supervisor at SeaWorld, a referee at a national youth sports, and a day park quality at SeaWorld. All right, here's the thing. First of all, before I even tell you what this means, I'm just going to advise you that a good spy, once they've been put into active service, is going to go out and get some bullshit jobs, like at McDonald's or SeaWorld, to blend in, to build a little history, a little, resume of crap to make them look like just some idiot off the street, not somebody with a BA in military psychology. Now, again, this show is mostly about people stealing money from one of our members. But let's just take a real quick look at military psychology and figure out what exactly it is. Let's look at Wikipedia. Well, let's see. It's a specialty within psychology, obviously, that applies to psychological science to promote the readiness of military members, organizations, and operations. Readiness for what? They provide support to the military in many ways through clinical care, consultation, blah, 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 teaching and support, blah, blah. Oh, that's what he wanted. No, let's go down a little bit more. Let's go down. Let's see. Role. The military is a group of individuals who are trained and equipped to perform national security tasks in unique and often chaotic, trauma-filled situations. These situations can include frontline battle, national emergencies, counter-terrorism support. Let me just skip here a little bit more down. lower area of study now. Let's go straight to terrorism. Terrorism and counterterrorism, information management, and psychological warfare are value-added roles for the applied aspect of military psychology that are developing. For instance, contrary to the common myths and stereotypes about modern terrorists that tend to portray them as mentally disturbed individuals, most terrorists are far from that typology, according to studies conducted by behavioral and social scientists who have either directly interviewed and observed terrorists or conducted meta-analytical studies of terrorism and terrorists. You know, they read books. Terrorists have tended to be from among the more well-educated of their host countries. They often have developed a well-thought-out but not very publicized or well-articulated rigid ideology that provides the foundation for their strategy and tactics. Psychologically disturbed terrorists increase the risk of damage to the terror organization's strategic outcomes. As in any organization, mentally disturbed terrorists are a liability, and the leaders of terrorist groups are well aware of the risks that these types of persons present. Let me get a little bit more into this. Think of what I'm really basically trying to tell you. Let's see. The goal of the terrorist is to use violence to create the natural fear of death and dismemberment and use it to change or shape political behavior, control thought, and modify speech. You know, like the narrative, modify speech, get people talking about something. Military and operational psychologists, Christian, are highly trained and experienced. These experts are equipped with specialized knowledge, skills, and ability in the art and science of military and psychology professions that gives them a great deal of potential in this unique operational environment. All right, let me cut to the chase. I don't need to read you anymore, people. This is spy shit. This is the NSA. This is national security. This is the U.S. government. This fucker is a plant. They gave him this training. He took this training. He couldn't hide it. We found it. It says right here his job is to infiltrate so-called terrorist groups. So obviously, this motherfucker and his superiors, whoever that may be, the U.S. government, you know, the fuckers that are eating the babies and raping the babies in their little government bunkers that they're trying to protect. You know, the NSA bunkers, the same people that are using people like him to do this. Well, okay, so what's his job? What does that mean? That means he was supposed to infiltrate the group, analyze me, find out if I'm crazy, if we're violent, all this crap. Build a case so they can do a stunt like they did the other day when the FBI got a fucking call about some idiot that supposedly threatened Biden, and they crashed into his house at 4:30 in the morning and killed him. Okay? That's what these fuckers want to do to me. They want to do a flashbang kill, no court, no nothing, shut that fucker up. All right? So first of all, before I go any further, all you stupid fucks that say, but he was my friend, I want to hear his side. Shut the fuck up and wake the fuck up. This guy is an enemy fucking agent, plant Judas, that was there to fucking facilitate their asses killing me to stop the fucking mission, because that's all they got. That's all they know is violence. They send him in there to look for violence. So before we go any more and talk about his fraud and everything else he did, I want to make it clear to you that before he even stole a penny from any of these women in my group who were vulnerable, because that's who he preyed on, the vulnerable, before he did any of that, he was trained to come in and be a fucking spy, a confidence man, someone who would say anything, rise up in the ranks, gain power, gain knowledge, gain an insight into the operations, control, and thinking of the so-called terrorist group, in this case, Occupy the Getty. And here he is out there pushing that shit right now. People, you can't hide this. You can't make it up. Okay? He's a trained fucking infiltrator working for the NSA. It's very, very simple. We have no room for that. It's not a friend. They're going to lie to you and tell you whatever they want. Everything they told you was a lie. Now, again, I approach this with a standpoint of being somebody who's always willing to forgive. Now, when I first heard about him trying to con people, of course, everyone he approached came to me and said, hey, what's up with this Christian guy? He's trying to get me to send him money. He's trying to sell me T-shirts. I bought a T-shirt, and he's not sending the T-shirt to me. Crap like this. Over and over and over. Always women. No guys are calling me and telling me this. Sounds like the MO of a pussy, doesn't it? Anyway. So, of course, what he didn't realize was that he was doing this to people that I was in touch with. No, I just thought he was a stupid con man. And unfortunately, I gave him too much slack over and over and over again. Over and over again. And mostly it was because of his hard work. Now, obviously, like I said in the Borat movie where the guy's a spy for Israel inside of Syria, he didn't get to the Defense Department of Syria without doing some hard work to get there. He did all kinds of good stuff that they liked, and that's why they gave him the position. That's the nature of their job. He didn't matter who he screwed over, who he got money out of, whatever he had to do, it was all okay. He had carte blanche. That's what Christian had. He thought, it's okay to take money from these stupid cult bitches. They're just stupid. Nobody's going to fuck with me. I got the fucking government behind me. Thinks he's a fucking Jedi. Motherfucker, it only took us like a day to find your house that you bought. Anyway, so let's start at the beginning. So he started ripping off people for the T-shirt crap. That happened a lot. I can't even detail all the people that I've heard this from. And, of course, many people in the group never trusted him from day one. But again, you know, unconditional love, all that, blah, blah, blah. Turn the other cheek, yada, yada. Anyway, we let him get away with it. Well, then this particular thing started with this particular person. And I don't know exactly all the details of how it started, but eventually he convinced her that he was going to rent a home somewhere close to me and share it with the victim as well as another member of our group. And this was going to be kind of a community thing that was going to working on the mission. It's all about the mission. Set it up to be a place to serve the mission. It's all about the mission. So the money that was stolen was for the mission, technically. Now, it was shipped overseas, not from the U.S., to the U.S., being PayPal, $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, till it got to $25,000. And about that time, it was time to get on that plane, that the plane ticket was booked, and say, okay, I'm ready to move out there. I'm ready. You're going to meet me at the airport. And Christian didn't answer the phone. He ignored her. Now bear in mind, before any of this happened, he tried to tell me, oh, this person's crazy. This person does this, all this crazy. And I'm thinking, what the hell? What the hell? One of my people's going crazy? He's doing shit? Now, let me just say this first before I go any further about this whole crazy business. First of all, yes, obviously what we do attracts crazy. What we do causes crazy. Now, I know a lot of people don't understand. If you read my book, maybe you got the part where I talked about the NSA guys, the people that get wind of what's really going on and real reality and all that stuff. You know, like I did, the whole Getty crap. When they're bringing people into that and they're trying to explain to them how things really work. Most of these people, when they have to learn about aliens and underground bunkers and Satanism and all this stuff, they go a little crazy. They turn to alcohol. Most of these people turn to alcohol. That is the most common. The only thing that I thought would work, that seems to work for me, and that is that whole anchor of Jesus. Now, it's like that idiot on that show, that attack piece. He says, oh, filter Jesus, Jesus filter. You can't learn anything because you got a Jesus filter. No, it's an anchor. It keeps you from being swept away by the bullshit, no matter how bad it gets. It keeps you grounded. And most people, like I said, when they get exposed to the stuff that we're trying to expose them to, they get a shock. And that is called waking up. And waking up is trauma. And trauma is when you realize that everything you thought was real isn't real. And you have to relearn everything, and you have to start over. And this happens a lot to people that join our group when they learn these things. And when you combine that with trauma that they may have from their families, disconnect, whatever, and this is often something that happens when people learn things they want to share with their families. A disconnect is very easy to take place. And that is not a reason to be crazy. There's lots of reasons to be crazy, and we get it all. But the bottom line is, people in our group, people that are exposed to the stuff that we're exposing, it's understandable if there's trauma, and it's understandable if they're lost and they don't know what to think. But for someone to come in here and prey on those people and use my name and the mission to get their money, that's unforgivable. And even when I knew about it, I still did everything. Now, it's not just this one thing. I mean, it's even my book. He tried to do the same thing. He tried to actually publish my book with some con publishing company, and you had to pay money to do that. And he was actually, again, calling up women, trying to get them to contribute to this book thing. All right, so when I first heard about this 25 grand business, I immediately said, all right, I'm going to call this guy up. I sent him a message. I said, call me. Now, of course, at this point, he doesn't know that I know. He still thinks that I'm being an idiot and enabling him to do these things. And so what happens, I said, hey, you took $25,000 from this woman because you guys were supposed to get her pad out here and do all this stuff, and she's getting ready to book a plane, and you won't talk to her, et cetera, et cetera. What's going on? What'd you spend the money on, and how much is left? Now, of course, nothing he told me was true, of course. Obviously, he spent a lot more than he said that he did at this time. But he basically said, I spent $5,000 on my car and my back rent. And supposedly this was a car that didn't work, which I thought was really kind of ridiculous at this point. But now we know it's probably something else. But I said, really? I said, this is what you're going to do. You're either going to follow through this thing with Laura. I'm sorry. You're going to follow through with this thing, and I'll have to delete that, and do this thing, or you're going to have to give it all back right now, whatever you got left. Okay, so in other words, okay, $5,000 you're gone. All right, let's get back what we can right now, and we'll deal with that $5,000. Well, of course, it wasn't $5,000. It was obviously a lot more. Next thing I hear, it's $20,000, it's $15,000, it's $20,000. There's nothing. Next thing you know, there's nothing left. He's not taking calls. He won't take my calls. Now, he wouldn't take my call. He disappeared. He went and got a new profile. He came up with some BS excuse about saying he was out of town, out of state. It's always some BS. I went to go see my mom. Yeah, right. What he was doing was actually taking the money, buying a house, and a whole lot of new toys. Now, I'll tell you, like I said, even as this was happening and getting worse and worse and worse, I was doing everything I could to give him as much slack as I could. Not give him slack per se, but to be in a position to forgive his ass. Well, it kind of snapped. Now, bear in mind, the evidence and the victims were piling up at this point, and it was beginning really terrible, and I was doing everything I could to recover this money. And I didn't want to disrupt anything and cause any, panic that might make it harder to try to recover some of this money, one way or the other. I'll tell you guys, this stuff gets really old really quick. Anyway, well, Well, that's when you guys all stepped in. I basically said, all right, find what you can. But at the same time, like I said, he wasn't answering any of my inquiries. He wasn't calling me, and he wasn't certainly wasn't answering my messages to call me. But he started sending me messages on some other profile, basically saying how this person was responsible and it's their fault and they're crazy and yada yada and all these terrible things. Of course, which I didn't read. But how many times do you have to send me a message saying someone's crazy before I get the idea of what it is that you're trying to do? Now, I'll just share something else with you, and this isn't a racial thing; it's just a reality thing. But where I live out here, we have our share of infamous ghettos. One of them that's really close by that comes to mind, you may have heard of it, is called Compton. You ever heard of Compton? Yeah, there's a lot of music that comes out of Compton. Anyway, it's just another one of these cities. Obviously, when I was dealing with law enforcement, I knew which cities had the most shootings. I knew all of it. I mean, Southgate was a big one, war zone, just in the LA County. But anyway, in Compton is where I really learned about the law of the jungle, okay? Because I had friends that lived there. They lived in there, and they were kind of, gangster. They're G. The gets G is not just ghetto; it's also gangster. So you could be OG, all that stuff, but you could be gangster and you could be ghetto. Now I was a little bit of both, okay? That's why they accepted me. But the point is that these guys practice what they call the law of the jungle, and the law of the jungle is basically, if you're stupid enough to allow me to steal your money, it doesn't matter if that money is for your babies and they're going to starve. If you're that stupid and you leave it out in front of me and you walk out of the room, I'm going to take it and run, and that is the law of the jungle. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're a mama, you got babies in the other room, and you just thought this guy's being nice to me. No. You're a dumb girl. You left your fucking food stamps on the table, and I'm out of here with that shit. That's the law of the jungle. Do you understand? And again, the person that took that shit is going to tell you it's their fault for being stupid. They should have known better. They should have been crazy. They should have been a crackhead. They should have been wanting to fuck me. They should have been wanting to do all they shouldn't have gone to the bathroom. They shouldn't have been leaving their food stamps on the table. Yada, 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 yada. They shouldn't be a single mom. They should have had another man there. They should have. It's everyone else's fault but theirs. That is the fucking law of the jungle. That is what we're experiencing here now, right now, real time, when we got this fucker is still out on the air, talking shit, blaming everyone else for the shit as if he didn't do anything. You know what? I don't care if the victim was a raving lunatic. You're supposed to be compassionate. You're supposed to be a Jedi. You're in my group. And you went and took advantage of one of the most vulnerable members of my group, not for 1,000 or 5,000 or whatever, 25 fucking thousand. That's grand fucking theft. You're going to do time. We're going to make sure you do time, motherfucker. And just because you think that this thing is international and they can't get you, guess again, dude. International doesn't care about national. They don't care about Texas. They don't care about the FBI. They work under a whole nother structure. And guess what? Money, banks, you know what? They run this shit. So you're fucked. You bought a fucking house. What are you going to do? You're going to short sell it? You're going to walk away from it? What are you going to do with all the loot? You're gonna sell all that crap that you bought, your fancy fucking laptop, your sound studio, your little LED lighting, whatever the hell you got, flat screen. Who knows what the fuck? You think you're a rapper now? You think you're me? You think you're a fucking internet star because you got 19 million fucking hits on TikTok with my fucking content, with my words and my face? You think that makes you an internet star, you dumb fuck? No, that makes me an internet star, you stupid fuck. You're just a guy spreading my content. That doesn't make you anybody. And thank you for spreading my content because all those people saw it. They already know what's up. They don't need to see anything else. You gave me 19 million fucking views that I didn't have before. So you served me. Now you stole money from her, and technically that money was for the mission, which was technically for me, and you stole it. But you know what? That's just it. That's what you got. You're not going to get any more. And these people that are working with you and helping you, and you know who I'm talking about, what do you think it's going to get you? Do you think that there's anything that you could say on the air, on anywhere, that anyone is going to pay attention to? Do you realize my fucking pit bulls are going to rip you apart? You think you're a gangster? You think you got a posse behind you? You fucking idiot. Were you really that stupid? That's what's really insane, is that you really were that stupid. But you know what? That's why they gave you the job, because they know better. They like to stay alive. And it's fortunate that I don't hate you and that you don't probably hate me. You may hate me now, but I think you just pulled one over on everybody and we're all fucking stupid. But you don't know how karma works. It works really quick. And you may have got that money and you may be balling today, but that shit's going to hook up. It's not going to be really pleasant when it does. So, you know, I mean, fucking Rambo. Do you think Rambo isn't fucking real, motherfucker? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You really think that Rambo isn't going to fuck with you at this point? How fucking stupid are you? Anyway, all of you motherfuckers that think you can get away with this shit. Now, let me just move on real quick, since I'm 35 minutes into it and I don't want to waste all my time on Christian. You know, we had a night of long knives last night where we removed all his crap. But, you know, I wanted to wait until the last second until we had enough information to make sure the San Antonio PD could take this dude out. And it sure appears that he bought a damn house. Now, prove me wrong, but our research shows he bought a damn house. Now, in Texas, a 3-bedroom house and 2 bathrooms goes for about $250,000. He stole plenty enough to get a down payment down, okay, and fill it with a little bit of shit, all right, on credit, whatever. He probably, who knows? And if he's working for the fucking government, which he obviously is because he's got a fucking bachelor's degree in being a spy, then, you know, he's probably getting a fucking paycheck already. He probably got all his back pay. He probably got a fucking bonus, okay? He probably got a fucking bonus for getting all that high up in our organization, thinking he's all number 2, competing with Jose over here. I'm like, yeah, Jose may be the prince, but I'm like number 2. I'm like the shit. You know, I went through this shit before with RD. We had 3,000 people in our group, and I went and started from scratch because some fucker this shit got to his head. He thought he was a little bit more than what he was, you know, kind of like Christian. Christian's purveying my shit, and suddenly he got confused, acting like he was actually the shit. No, you're not part of it. You're fucking dirt trash. We always knew you were. Come on, dude. Nobody's stupid. What I can't believe is that so many people fell for this shit. I mean, really? You're whatever-year-old woman and you're falling for this 25-year-old dreads and thinks he's your buddy that lives 1,000 miles away from you? Seriously? Is that how your daddy raised you? Fucking A, women. You should have been a lot fucking smarter than this. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, that goes without saying. So I could go on and on about the crazy that's going on. You people, you got to understand, like I said, you're dealing with supernatural. You're dealing with shit you don't understand. And you need to have some faith, okay? Maybe you heard that before, but this is not about you trying to understand everything. You just need to fucking have some faith in the mission, and you need to have a little faith in me. So the first thing you got to do is don't give any money to anybody that says they represent me. Call me up, email me, whatever. You make sure you're talking to me and not some idiot trying to sell crypto. And we'll talk about it, work it out, and make sure that you know what you're doing. Because, come on, people, do you really think I would allow one of you to send me $25,000? Seriously. Come on. Don't be ridiculous. Do you think the enemy would allow me to have that much money? Are you kidding me? No, that's why they put Christian in there to suck it all up from you so that I wouldn't get it. All right? So I appreciate the effort. But, you know, come on, people, you know, how many times have I told you? My PayPal is Stephen Kelly 714@yahoo.com. Say it's a gift, friend or family, or I will send it back. What the hell are you doing sending Christian $8,000, $5,000, $3,000, whatever for? How many of you have done that? If you have had it happen to you, let me know. I need to know how many of you have been ripped off, okay? And I'm not talking about people selling crypto, because I know plenty of you have been ripped off by selling crypto. But this is a Judas that said he was close to me, that I trusted. And, of course, again, I fell for his confidence game. He got my confidence, even though I knew he was a hood. Okay? And I never thought that what he was doing by taking advantage of this woman was okay, and it kind of pissed me off, and I've had many conversations with him about it. He got his butt thumped over here once. I'm not going to go into many details about that, but, you know, we think when shit like that happens that someone straightens up. But you know what? A big clue to me was when he says, yes, sir, yes, sir. He used to say that to me a lot. Oh, my God, come on. 25 years old, blah, 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 military this, military that. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Okay? He is what he was. We should have seen it. And thank you for those people that provide this information. And unfortunately, he had to steal a ton of money before we went and did any due diligence on this jerk. All right? Now, I'm not going to waste any time on the other person that seems to be involved with this, the one that's actually giving her platform to Christian and apparently talking shit about me for whatever stupid reason. That's just fucking retarded, okay? Come on, people. Seriously. First of all, I don't care, okay? There's no such thing as bad publicity. Second of all, nobody's really listening to you, and they know what you are. And obviously, after the show tonight, they're certainly going to know what you are. So, again, there's no place for fucking ego. There's no place for somebody trying to become, I'm number two. There's no place for someone trying to become my woman. There's no place for any of that shit in this mission. Okay? Stop thinking you're Mary Magdalene. Stop thinking whatever. Okay? Focus on the mission. And if you can't handle the overwhelming stuff that we're dealing with, smoke a little bit of weed or something. Talk to me about it. But don't go off the deep end. Very, very important. Okay? Really important. All right? Now, again, I don't fault you if you had a trauma because of the truth caused you a trauma and you went a little nutty. That happens, and it usually takes people a long time to recover. But just be aware. Be aware. And, again, don't let people steal from you. But on top of that, and just, you know, to focus on, because this is the real issue here, is greed. Greed. Greed will get you. These motherfuckers approach you with some greed shit, and it's not me. I mean, I work really hard to show you that I'm not the greedy person trying to take your money, and then someone comes like this and does something like that. And, of course, as we know, just by looking at this spy crap, they're looking for people, they're looking for a leader of a anti-government group. Yeah, we're anti-fucking baby-eating government. But it won't prove that they're baby eaters. You know, open your damn NSA bunker and show us that you don't have corpses of babies all over the place and you don't have blood all over the place. We know you do. You'd rather try to squish us than to clean up the mess that you made from eating all those babies. You're so confident in your ability to keep us away. But the ones that know, they know what's coming. But they got you. They got you. They get the dumb ones, especially people like Christian. All right, so anyway, we're not going to really trust anybody like that anymore, obviously. And again, once again, now I have to elevate myself. I have to build a big void between me and everybody else. Thank you very much for doing that, people. Okay, I'm not blaming everybody, but, you know, here's the thing. Why do you think people become hermits? Why do you think these leader-type people put these big old walls between you and them? That is why. Because they don't have time for the BS. They don't have time to hold everybody's hand, even though you're going through some shit. Nobody else is better to do it than me. Sure, I get it. But, my God, you're not helping the mission. You're slowing me down. I don't need the stress. And I sure as fuck don't need you stealing from my fucking members. Now, as far as what damage has been done by this military operation that took place, we'll see. We're going to work on that and take care of that and, you know, make a few adjustments. I'll tell you another adjustment we're going to make, though, and this is kind of important that I'm still working on. That is, if anybody tries to sell you a T-shirt or anything that says Occupy the Getty, it is now going to only come from a source that I certify. We will have OTG gear source. All right? It's going to be genuine stuff. We're not going to have Joe Blow make T-shirts and tell people, yeah, I got shirts, and then steal their money and who knows what. Okay? And again, I'm not against people making money because, Lord knows, I stuck my neck out for Christian so he could make a buck or two because I thought he was a po' boy, but he wasn't a po' boy. He was on a government payroll to put me in a position where they could kill me. Okay, so fuck him. He was never your friend. Bottom line. All right? He's dead to us all. I'm sorry. As someone who's supposed to have the ultimate in forgiveness and compassion and all that stuff, unconditional love. Okay, sure. As a human, I can still love him, but I know that he is now a military operative sent to facilitate my death. All right? So I can have pity on him also. But whatever his intentions were will be on him, and everything will be dealt with accordingly. And I'm sure the police will catch up to him, and it'll all be done. And like I said, if you got conned, I want to know about it. All right? If you see him out there, block him. If he tries to give you his side of the story, why the fuck would you even begin to listen to this scumbag? Hello, vulnerable woman, $25,000 to his head. He spent that money and blamed her. Okay? What kind of scumbag man does that? That's not a fucking man. That's like an animal. That's somebody that belongs in the fucking jungle because that's what they're doing, law of the jungle. So fuck that. All right, so anyway, that's going to happen. What else? All these groups, we're going to have a long talk about all the various different groups because obviously if I'm not in the group, that's your big clue there's something wrong. Okay? That's a big clue. We're going to make it happen so that I'm at least if there's a subgroup, I'm going to be in it so that you guys know it's legit. We'll have to work on other ways so that you guys will know what's legit because obviously they're not just trying to destroy us. They're trying to co-opt us, hijack us, take us over, fool you, put out all kinds of bullshit to make us look bad. They're going to do everything they can. Right now, we know they're not happy. All right? So I'm not going to take a break. I'm tired of talking about this shit. And like I said, I got a couple other things going on that are very significant that I'm having to deal with right now. Don't be surprised. Oh, and by the way, also understand, the Stephen D. Kelly for President 2024 has nothing to do with Occupy the Getty. Those are two different things. As soon as the one thing is an LLC and incorporated and has its tax ID, then you can contribute to whatever, but it has nothing to do with Occupy the Getty and the money that you send me on PayPal to support that. Nothing to do with it. That's a whole other thing. It's very important that you people understand that because these two separate movements have both been infiltrated. All right? So be aware of that because it's not just to spy against Occupy the Getty, it's also a spy against the Stephen D. Kelly for President, who's actually opened up pages with my name to basically either get self-gratification or hijack my efforts. All right. So, again, if you want my book, you should have it already. You got to email me, law17gun@aol.com. If you haven't joined the group, I don't know what you're waiting for. Oh, that's right. You're scared of the FBI and stuff coming to get you. Well, fear keeps coming up over and over and over. If you got the fear, maybe you shouldn't be there. But you know what? As long as you guys all have fear, we're never going to get anywhere. And I equated fear with intelligence. If you think you're so smart, why are you still in fear? Okay? If you're going to have fear, just admit that you're not smart. Okay? Just take them both. Own them both. If you want to help me, help do this. If you want to make up for the... Well, it's not like I consider anything damage, but imagine what it would have been like, I suppose, how things could have been a little bit different if all that didn't get stolen. Not that I want it. He should have never convinced her to give it to him. But either way, it just makes me think that we need to step up our efforts. We need to be more vigilant. And at the same time, we have to ask you guys to do the same thing. All right? Let me just go ahead and leave it at that. And like I said, too much stress for one night. No, actually, it's not too much stress for one night. The stress is only beginning. Like I said, though, we are Truth Cat Radio. I'm really happy of those of you that did tune in tonight. And of course, I do need this information shared out there because these people are going to continue to say whatever stupid things they're saying, and they're also going to continue to try to take advantage of people. Now, again, hopefully we're going to recover as much of this stuff as we can for the victim. And hopefully, because he was stupid enough to buy a house and not rent a house, we'll be able to actually nail him because he can't run away from that now. Anyway, we'll keep you all posted. But in the meantime, I apologize to everybody that got hurt, and I apologize that we had to go this route. I apologized for all of you that the integrity of our operation and everything, myself and the mission, was tainted by all of this. And I don't want to blame it on anything. If anything, blame it on unconditional love and the very nature of our peaceful nature of our group. All right, so I'm thankful that we're very vigilant, not allowing him to collect any sort of thing that could be used to suggest that there's anything violent about what we're doing. Okay, and obviously we've had plenty of people come in and try to provoke us like that. We've just kicked them out. So this is a learning experience. It's not the end. Hopefully it's the end of con men, people like that, stealing from people. At the same time, the government isn't going to give up. And if you haven't learned that this is the biggest thing on earth, that we are the fucking thing that they do fear the most in the world, you're not paying attention. Okay? This is not a little thing. It's not a little thing at all. It's a wake-up call to all of us. All right? So with that, I'm just going to once again remind you all that my name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show. Thank you for being here. Once again, real quick, just because I forgot it, PayPal is StephenKelly714@yahoo.com. Say it's friend or family, or I got to send it back. Anyway, thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week, okay? All right. With that, good night. God bless. Adios. And goodbye.